Hi friends, welcome to day 8, and I feel like I say this a lot, but if it looks like I have a lot going on, that's because I do. But that's because we put our tree up today, and if there was ever a day that deserved a big story and all sorts of bits and pieces, finally getting my tree up is 100% that day. So it looks like I have a lot on my desk. I do have a lot on my desk, but there's a lot. It's all going to come together. I promise you it's all going to come together really nicely. So here's what I had for my day 8 as far as foundation pages. I had this in the product play class. Pam Baldwin taught this lesson where you made this cool hexagon flower. So I had this from product play. And I had this Fa La La transparency that I made using a cut file from Allie. And I knew that whatever day I finally put my tree up, I was going to use this. I'm actually going to use these both together. And then as I was sitting with Joshua and putting up the tree, I set my tripod up, and I have an Apple Watch so I can take pictures from my watch. And I just like randomly snapped pictures as we were putting the tree up. So there's lots and lots of pictures. So I'm actually going to do 2 things. I'm going to make a little tag accordion thing, and then I'm going to have my journaling, and I have a big photo, and there's just lots of stuff going on right here. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media, which is why I have these distress oxides on my desk. I missed out. Oh my Lord, I'm just dropping everything. I missed out on the large wood veneer. Okay, this is real life. Ignore the chaos behind me. I missed out on the large wood veneer numbers that Allie had in her shop. And I was very sad about it for a few days. And then someone on Instagram, her name's Jordan Lane, she actually just bought the digitals and cut it a few times and made her own. And I don't know why it never occurred to me, because I do that all the time. Like I make my own chipboard all the time by just cutting things a few times, but it never occurred to me to do it this time. So I bought the digitals and I cut a number 8. And then I was a little ridiculous and I cut it 8 times. So it is nice and solid. And I'm going to do some mixed media on top of the top number 8. So that's why I have 2, because if you watch my channel before, you know I will inevitably mess something up. So I cut 2. So if I mess the first one up, then I have a second one. And I have this hexagon stencil that's really old from my stash. And I figured since I had the hexagons on this, I was going to put some hexagons through this. So I have some inks, and Christina Werner, her name is Star of May on Instagram, and her YouTube channel is just Christina Werner. She's one of those like card makers I talked about that do like crazy stuff with stamps. She's amazing. So she had these like distress oxide combo series that she had done, where she had just like, you know, mix and match some distress oxide combos, and I loved the way this looked in her card. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm gonna try. So all I'm gonna do, I'm first gonna tape my stencil down to my number 8 so it doesn't move. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna flip it and tape it to my craft mat. And that's not super straight, but I'm okay with it. So I'm going to tape this down to my craft mat, and I'm just going to do some ink blending. And I think I'm probably going to fast forward through this because ink blending takes some time. So I'm going to do the ink blending, and then I have this gold ink. This is from This is from Dewdrop. It's one of the VersaFine, I think. I think it's VersaFine, but it's a really sparkly gold. So after I do the ink blending, I'm going to go in and just add some gold, since I have this shiny thing here. And I'll come back. So I'm probably just going to speed through this. So you don't have to watch me play. But the colors I'm using are Milled Lavender, Victorian Velvet, and Aged Mahogany. And if my ink blending looks anything like hers, this is going to come out really well. So I'm just using these brushes. These are not like brand brushes. I got these off of Amazon. They're like the knockoff of the... I already have paint all over me. They're the knockoff of these ink blending brushes that everyone's using, but I got mine off of Amazon and they work just fine. So again, I'm gonna speed through this. I'm probably shaking my desk and shaking my camera. So I think I'm gonna stop, fix my setup, then speed through this, and I'll come back when I have my 8 covered. Okay, so we're gonna do the big reveal together, and if this works the way I wanted it to, you saw like I covered the whole thing in gold to add some sparkle. Let's see if this works the way I wanted it to. I'm like literally holding my breath. Like, okay, so the stencil's off. Let's see what my 8 looks like. Drum roll, please. Oh, that did exactly what I wanted it to do. Okay, so you see in some spots the blending's not perfect. I must have lifted up the stencil a little bit as I was blending it, but I am okay with tiny imperfections. Like you'll see, it's kind of just here. Here the ink blending moved a little bit, but I think it's so pretty. Okay, let me just get all this tape off. Get all this tape off. It's so pretty, and it matches this really, really well. So adding the gold over top kind of mellowed out some of the colors, and it just made it sparkly, and it's so pretty. Again, it's not perfect. You can see some places like the ink bled out from the stencil moving, but oh, I'm so happy with that. Okay, and then this is, I'm just gonna make sure there's not ink on my finger so I'm not making a huge mess. So this is something that Lisa Varshine, her name is Freckle Pickle on Instagram, had shared last year in the Prada's Play class. Like last year, the themes were trees, text type, I think, and tags. I think that's what it was last year. And she had done this with this particular technique with the cork numbers. And I figured since I had already bought the digital of this number, why not do the same thing? So I'm just assembling my behemoth of a number. It is super, guys, it is super thick. I'm gonna let that dry before I press on it. But the way it's gonna work is I like created a text path in Photoshop, put my journaling around the number 8, and look, that just looks, guys, that's so pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry off, and I'll read my journaling to you guys in a little bit. It is a letter to twinkling lights, and I'm really happy with it. So a few of you have asked me about journaling tips, and I gave you guys some tips last time, which was like just go deeper. So this time my tip is just let it happen. My intention was to write a letter to twinkling lights, and I ended up writing a letter about home and what home means. So there you go, just go with it. So here are the photos. So I ended up printing 11 photos, and I'm gonna make an accordion. So I have these 5 photos of Joshua and I trimming the tree. This is one of my favorites. I think I had just started dancing. We were listening to Christmas carols, I started dancing. I didn't realize that the self-timer was gonna go off, but it's pretty serendipitous. This is one of my favorite ornaments. Joshua gave me this ornament when he moved in with me, and it's one of my favorites. It's just a polar bear. So I'm going to make an accordion. And then here are the back sides. So I just took a picture of some of my favorite ornaments. There's Minerva ready to pounce on the tree. She's already tried to eat it 10 times. There's my Hogwarts ornament. So I just took a picture of some of my favorite ornaments. There's Melody, which is my elf. She's on top of the tree. And I'm going to make an accordion. And again, I'm going to like zip through this. I'm using my hinge technique to make the accordion. I don't want to like completely edit it out because I think it'd be helpful to see how you assemble one of these. But then it would also just be, it might end up being really long. So I'm going to fast forward through this and assemble my accordion. My photos are sized 3.5 by 2.5. I think that's what I sized them down, 3.5 by 2.5. So I'm just going to assemble this. Again, I'll speed through it so you can see the process, but you don't have to watch me play with this because I don't know if I could talk about enough stuff that's interesting long enough to put this together, and I will come back when I'm finished. Okay, so here it is. So here's how it looks when it's all open. And then here's the back side. And it worked out so well. So that's another tip. I know I gave you guys a tip yesterday if you had a lot of photos and you couldn't choose, because I have a hard time choosing when I am working on this project. I just want to put all the things all the time. So if you ever have trouble choosing, sometimes, you know, more is more. So here's a really easy way to get a lot of photos in your album. Print them small, make a little booklet, and put them in your album. So here's what I have. I have this thing, and I cut this paper down so it fits on the back side. And when I had created this, I created it on vellum. So I have to back it because otherwise this is ugly. So I'm backing it, and then I'm gonna create another vellum pocket. So I'm gonna make my pocket first. Just gonna see. So this is just a piece of vellum. I think it's cut. It's 5 inches wide by 2 3/4 high, and I cut it that size so it would fit here. Like, I wanted to make sure that it would fit on the back side of this and not hang off here. And I'm just going to go ahead and make my pocket. Okay, that is stuck down and it works. Okay, it works. It works, you guys. It lives. It works. Perfect. So the thought process is it's going to sit here like this, and then when you open it, you have this, like, it's gonna be like a little fun, like, hidden thing. And when you open it, it's gonna be right there. So that worked. I'm sorry you guys had to watch me fuss with that. Sometimes that's what it's like. If you have these big ideas and then you go to execute them and then they don't always work. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick that hard. I'm making sure I put lots of tape at the edges so it sticks. Oh, and first, before I keep going, I would be terribly remiss if I didn't say thank you to all of you. So many of you have left me, I know I say this almost every day, but you guys, I mean, you guys do it every day. But so many of you left me the sweetest comments yesterday on my video. I was really worried that it wasn't going to be the greatest, you know, the greatest one, because I wasn't myself. I was, you know, I'm dealing with a fair bit. And I talked a lot about it in the video about, you know, transitioning and change. And first of all, I didn't realize I was connected to so many people who were connected to nurses. So that's kind of amazing how many of you are nurses or know people who are in nursing or have, you know, family or everything. That's like amazing how many of you are connected to nurses. But thank you just so much for showing up for me. Like, I appreciate you guys so, so much. I don't even know if I have the words to say how much I appreciate you guys. Okay, so here it is. So here's how it's gonna look. That's gonna go over this, and then that's gonna stay like that. And I'm going to attach this using some Star Brads. Or maybe I won't attach it at all. I'm not gonna attach it. I think I like it more as a free moving piece. So I'm not gonna attach it at all. I'm just gonna leave it in the album, let it be free. So this is very much my approach to foundation pages, and this is why I make foundation pages the way I do, because, I mean, I don't like having numbers and stuff in the pocket. It's hard to know what you want to do for the story, but what I do like doing is having a bit of crafty things ready. Because like this hexagon thing, I could literally make work for any story. It doesn't have to be a story about trimming the tree. It just worked out that this is what I had prepared for day 8, and it fits perfectly. So. And then because this was the color scheme I chose, then I inked my 8 to match. So if you like foundation, if you like the idea of having things prepared, but you worry about having numbers in the pocket, then don't put numbers in the pocket. Like, do the crafty things. Like this hexagon thing took me a bit of time. And that's not something I would have to do, like I would want to do in December, especially since I'm doing so many other crafty things in December. Like I'm making flip ups and I'm making accordions and I'm doing all this other stuff. So if there are things that I could, you know, reduce the time it takes me to put a page together in the month, then yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. All right, so that's how that looks all put together. Oh, I like that so much. That's how that's going to look. So this is the right side of the page. And I think I had something to put up there. Okay, I do. So I have this one hexagon up here that's empty. So I have these. I have this hexagon. It came in the main kit. And I think I'm going to put it up here and then spell out the word joy. I think that might be fun. So I have these gold letters that I love so much that I need Allie to stock forever and ever so I can buy a million backups. And the other thing I did today before I turned on the video is I tried to think ahead to everything I would possibly need and have it on the desk, so there was less Tatiana disappearing and looking for stuff, because I'm doing my best to not end up with a 25-minute video. I know yesterday I said I wasn't going to say that and then I ended up with a 26-minute video yesterday, but today I'm doing my best to not have it be super long. Okay, so that's how that looks. And then I'm just gonna spell out the word joy. And I'm actually gonna use a Q today because I'm hoarding O's and I don't really spell any words that have Q's. And there's 2 more Q's if I do need a Q. So I'm gonna put that O right in the middle. And then J-O-Y, because Tatiana is always looking for joy. Always looking for joy. Oh, that worked out so well. Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is going exactly according to plan. I have not made any huge flubs or mistakes yet. And I think let me just check my phone to check my notes, but I think I am almost finished with this page. So let me just see. So I have my notes, I have my tree story. Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay, so that worked so well. That's why I love having foundation pages. Okay, so here's my 8. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this. So yeah, if you're like me and you have FOMO and you missed out on like something like a number and you have a cutting machine, then there's no reason why you can't create that number yourself. Okay, I just want to make sure I get this in here. And the better part of having the digitals is if you decide to do a technique like this, you already have the digital. So I kind of cheated. And it needs to move over a little bit. I kind of cheated and embedded the number 8 in Photoshop in this and then sketched around it. See, that looks so good. Oh, this needs more glue. So adding the gold to the Distress Oxides, it totally changed the color. Like if you were watching during the blending process, the purple that I used was really cool toned, but adding that gold on top warmed it up so nicely. Okay, so here's how day 8 looks. Like this is the spread. I have all the words here, and then I have my photo, I have my tag pocket with more photos. I'm gonna put it in the book, and then I'll come back and I'll read you my journaling, because again, it started out as a letter about twinkling lights and it turned into something completely different, and I think I love it even more because of that. So I'm gonna go put it in my book and I'll be right back. Hey friends, so I'm back. So here's how it looks in the album. Day 7 was a page protector, so I ended up just gluing this to the back of the page protector, and there's a little bit of overhang again, which means when I measured it, I didn't do the greatest job. So I tried to like pick it up and move it again, but then the paper started ripping, and so I gave up. So I think what I might end up having to do is put like something, like I still have these white pom-poms from yesterday, so I might go put some white pom-poms here, or I might just leave it the way it is. I don't know how I feel about it yet. The other thing I did before I put it in the book was I added some pink pom-pom trim to both sides. I just like having the pom-pom trim, and I actually had pom-pom trim like later on in the album, so I thought it'd be fun to use it again. So here's how day 8 looks. So it's a 2-page spread, and then this flips out here. I have my picture of my tree, and I actually put the pom-poms on the picture, not on the tree. And then I have like that accordion flip out you saw me make, which is stuck to itself, but I have that fun accordion flip out you saw me make, which fits in this pocket. Finally, never mind, it doesn't fit in the pocket. I just broke the pocket. Okay, I think I broke the pocket. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out how to fix that, but it's in there. So here's my journaling. And again, it's pretty long, but you guys don't seem to mind that. So here's my journaling. It says, "Dear Twinkling Lights, it feels like I had to wait forever to run into you this year. Years and years of tradition where you meet me well before the 1st of December have ruined me and spoiled me and made me forget what it was like to wait for joy and magic and the trimming and the sorting and the laughing. This year, it feels like every time I turn around, something is waiting to teach me patience and grace and how to endure, and you were no different. I watched everyone else's lights go up and marveled over everyone's beautifully decorated trees and mantles, wondering when it would be my turn to bring the glow and shine into my own. Well, today is that day, and I am so, so glad to reconnect with you and to run into you once again. You are and have always been my favorite part of the season. More than gifts and new pajamas and the carols, you are a balm for my soul. You are a beacon of hope, a reminder of my intention to find joy in all things, a manifestation of goodness and gentleness, a family and love and home and hearth. This apartment still doesn't feel like home all the time, no matter how Joshua and I work at it. And last Christmas, it felt like a shoe I brought home and tried to wear for hours without breaking in. A hint of what could be when it was worn and uncomfortable, but still sore and painful and sharp. This year it is better, and the cats do wonders towards settling us in, but with my schedule and endless coming and going, I have not had time for everything to slide into place and to find resolution. This apartment doesn't feel the way the home I grew up in felt, or the way Joshua's parents' home felt, or even the way my first apartment felt, warm and soft and cozy, but you do wonders towards making this a place I can dwell in and find magic and hope and light in. Trimming the tree with him and plugging you in and yelling at Minerva and Astoria for trying to escape with all the shiny new things has added some necessary holiday magic to this space. And your softly glowing beams have reached through my chest, into my heart, and flipped a switch inside me. In a never-ending routine of work, take exams, study for the next exam, repeat, this is an island of safety and surety and tenderness. Thank you for ignoring my impatience and demands for you to come faster and showing up right on time, right when I was primed and ready to open up and let that special brand of magic work on me. They say joy is the sincerest form of gratitude, and I'm choosing to let this thankfulness fill me up and overflow, to find and hold joy close, and to sit and be and glow from the inside out right along with you. Thank you. So here's day 8. This story, I love having lights in my home. It just makes Christmas feel like Christmas. It makes a home feel like home for me. And the twinkling lights just take me back to my childhood. It's very much a tradition. And so I started writing about lights. I ended up writing about home, and I went with it. And this journaling, I feel like it's so much better for going with it. So if you're struggling with writing the stories, just let it happen. Don't try to pick yourself and force yourself into one box or whatever you think it should be. Just let it happen. The other thing I'm going to tell you guys is I have given up on my one album solution because we are at day 8. Here's where day 8 stops. And there's no way I'm fitting another 17 days into this album. So after we finish here, I'm going to head to Allie's site and see if she has any more of these in stock. And I'm just going to buy a second one because I cannot contain it. I don't want to contain it. I like having all the chunky bits and all the dimension. And this album, December Daily, is my favorite project. So if this isn't the project I can live and spread out in, then what is? So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you do decide to create a page like this, it might take a little bit longer than it did to make this, but the rest of the page was really, really easy. The template creating into Photoshop was a little annoying because I'm not good at Photoshop, but the rest of the page was really easy and it feels really impactful and really fun. And I love having the extra photos here. It's like a little surprise and it just all worked out really well. So again, thank you for hanging out with me. Happy December Daily, happy day 8, and I will see you guys tomorrow at day 9. Oh, sorry, and if you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe because I love reading your guys' comments. It makes me so happy. But after that, I'll see you guys at day 9. Until next time, keep it crafty, friends, and have the best day.